right, everybody. This is again Faisal from Maadin, and thank you so much, Luca, for agreeing to be on our channel.
Of course, brother.
Thank you so much. So from Auckland, green to world stages. So Necrot built a reputation on pure atmosphere, violent riffs, and that raw underground energy that feels genuinely dangerous. So in this interview, we're gonna dive deep into the evolution of the band, the state of death metal today, and the darkness behind the lyrics, live chaos, and everything in between. And so my first question to you, Luca, is like, Necrot feels like one of the few modern death metal bands that genuinely sound dangerous instead of retro. Where do you think that danger actually comes from in your music?
I think from just personal experience, growing up into going to a lot of like punk and hardcore shows too. It's not just metal. Like, you know, we always liked bands like GBH, Discharge. We always liked situations where, like, you know, the crowd goes fucking crazy and all of that. So it's like we always try to bring that energy to the stage. We always try to bring that energy to our music. Also, like, you know, our lyrics also talk about like how the human condition is really fucked up and society too. So it's like there is some kind of like, you know, rage to our lyrics, and there is some rage to our music for sure. You know, we started this band when we were like in our early 20s, so you're still very charged with all that, you know, all that energy that you carry with you, you know what I mean? So I feel like, yes, that's part of the reason why.
Fair. And to you, what's more important in Necrot, violence or the atmosphere?
Well, I think both. I don't think we're like, I feel like we're more like a riff-based band, riff and speed and power and some groove to our music more than atmosphere. I feel like when you talk about atmosphere, people think more about like atmospheric black metal and like more like we are very much based on the riffs.
Yeah. So what kind of shows built you as a musician before even Necrot existed?
Oh, like shows that I've witnessed.
Yeah, you witnessed and you went in.
Definitely, like you know, Motorhead, early Sepultura stuff, those videos from the early '90s, all the even Napalm Death, watching like Morbid Angel videos and stuff. You know, all the good stuff.
Nice. And like, since you're an Auckland band, what's the most Auckland thing about you guys?
I don't know. I feel like Auckland is cool because like it's a huge mix of cultures and a huge mix of people. And even us as Necrot is like, I grew up in Italy. Our guitar player is from New Mexico and our drummer is from California. Like we're used to like living in a place that is very diverse in terms of like races, people, traditions, cultures. There's people from all over the world, and like a lot of acceptance. You know, people are so used to a big mix of everything, and also like is a place where there is a lot of respect for arts, where there is a lot of music that came out of there. There is a lot of like inspirational stuff that came out of there, and it's a place where music and arts are respected. Where if you, a lot of people used to go at least used to move to the Bay Area to do a career with their crafts and arts and music and all that stuff. So I feel like it's been a really good place for us where to start the band.
Yeah. So now I'm gonna talk more about your sound. So your bass tone is disgusting in the best way possible, and it almost feels like a second guitar fighting the riffs. So how did you become with that?
Well, I always liked bass guitars that sounds more like guitars. I actually use like a guitar pedal. Like I've always experimented with like guitar pedals and guitar gears. For a while I used to play through a guitar head, a whole Sun concert lead head. Like I think that like especially in a 3-piece you need the bass to be as fat and gainy, distorted as possible to, you know, fill out the missing of a second guitar, let's say.
So you talked about you always liked the bass more than the guitar. So is there any specific record that changed how you viewed bass?
I mean, I write all the Necrot songs on guitar. So I love guitar. I love playing guitar. But yeah, for the live performance, I really enjoy playing the bass and singing. But yeah, I don't dislike guitars. Like everything I write on guitar, like it is still the more predominant, compositioning for metal. You write stuff on guitar,
So what is harder live, vocals or maintaining that bass attack?
Oh, definitely the vocals, because the vocals is like, especially on long tours like we do, like today, this is our 35th day on the road, and like, you always have to make sure you don't get sick. Okay, so you gotta make sure you sleep enough. You gotta make sure you're not skipping too many meals. So you gotta make sure of that. So it's like, I can play the bass even if I'm about to die, but like, I do have to have a little bit of health in there to be able to sing every night, So it's like, I feel like maintaining the vocals on a long tour is more challenging than playing the instrument.
Yeah. What kind of like rituals that you do on tour that keeps the vocals and your vocal cords clean?
No, I think it mostly is like getting enough sleep, so you give your vocal cords chance to recover, and then like, of course it helps to like drink hot tea, or like, try and get like a ramen or a soup here and there, and like, especially for winter tours, like, make sure that like every time we get off stage, I try as fast as possible to like dry myself out, change my clothes, change my socks, change my t-shirt, change my pants, make sure I'm not just like soaking in sweat after the show for a while.
And a little bit extra more careful there, right?
Yeah, you gotta be a little extra more careful. Yeah, totally.
Fair. So, talking about the death metal scene, a lot of death metal bands like chase technicality more, but Necrot chase groove and physical impact. So, do you think brutality is sometimes more important? So, do you think brutality is sometimes more about restraint than complexity?
Well, I think that like when things get too complex, they lose the heaviness of it. It becomes more something for musicians to other musicians, kind of, like almost feels like if you don't know music, you're not gonna get it. And so it's like I always try to make music that is more accessible, and I feel like sometimes the simplest riff might become the heaviest one. And like, some bands have taught us that, like Black Sabbath or AC/DC, or like, a lot of stuff, or even the fucking Ramones, I mean, some of the easiest stuff sometimes is the hardest hitting, right? So it's like I feel like making it overcomplicated, it loses the heaviness. It's like I understand there is a lot of people that like really like that, and they're researching that, and that's what they want. That's what they look for in a band. They want a band that is super fucking tricky and complicated, and it's understandable, and I get it. It's just not what we're doing.
So for you, what do you think makes a crowd move harder live? Speed or groove?
I think more groove than speed. I feel like if you go too fast, if you're going way too fast, then people will be like, what the fuck is going on? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I also feel like a mix of both. I think change of tempos, going from a tempo to another one, like that's what makes people like feel that difference of energy, when you're going from like a ta 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 to a tupa 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 or something like that, and then all of a sudden you're going dun 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 bum 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 bum.
Drop it.
And then it changes of tempo what makes people move, Keep it fun, keep it interesting.
So let's talk a little bit more about the lyrics. So Necrot lyrics feels less like a horror fantasy and more like a real world collapse.
Yeah.
What kind of darkness inspires you creatively right now?
Life events. If I've seen, if you're part of this world, sooner or later you're gonna go through some horrible shit. Like there is no way around it. Like so it's like I feel like there is enough horror in real life that there is no need to go look for fantasy stuff like a dragon bit my leg, or you know what I mean, or like a monster is trying to rape me. It's like, it's like if you've seen people die of cancer, if you lost people close to you, if you have loss in general really puts you in a place of thinking and understanding, and the war, the struggle is like everybody's struggling. And if you look into other countries where there is literally like genocides where children are being killed, I'm like, do you need to go look for horror in a movie? It's like the real horror is on this fucking planet, you know.
Which is completely fair. So, on your songs, is there any one Necrot lyric that you feel people have overlooked?
Most of it, because we play death metal, like, you know, so it's like most people don't even look at the lyrics. It's like, you know, so it's like, yeah, most of it. I would say most of it. Sometimes people are like, oh, you guys are a gore band. And I'm like, no, you haven't looked at the lyrics. And of course, like, you know, most people cannot understand what I'm saying when I'm singing or whatnot. So it's like, unless you go look for the lyrics or you own the album where the lyrics are and whatnot, most lyrics get overlooked in death metal for sure.
So the jump from Blood Offerings to Mortal to Lifeless Birth feels like the band getting heavier emotionally, not just sonically. So do you feel Necrot is becoming darker as you evolve?
Yeah, because our lives becomes more intense, just as far as like growing older and like having to deal with, you know, with other situations that, like, you know, you don't have to deal when you're in your 20s, but then when you start being in your 30s and 40s, it's like, you know, your parents are dying and your friends are, some of them are getting sick, and like, you know, you went through a lot. So it's like, I feel like the emotional charge become more intense, you know, and it translates into the music.
So which record was emotionally the hardest to make?
To write, the next one.
Next one?
Yeah, the next one.
Cool.
The next one, because my father died during our last tour that I was on the road, but he went through like a lot of years of insane suffering, and like I feel like that was the state in which I wrote the new album. So I feel like that's gonna be the more emotionally charged of all of them.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Really appreciate
of
it,
course.
Luca. Necrot live shows feel relentless, almost like hardcore energy trapped inside death metal. What's your mindset before stepping on stage?
That I'm gonna destroy everything. I don't know. That's the fun part of being on tour. You know, you sit on the van all day. You're waiting for that 45 minutes an hour that you get to play. You're waiting for it all day, and you wanna release all that energy that you have, because sometimes you're like frustrated on the road, because it's like you're a little bit like kind of like in captivity, because you're playing the show, you're packing it up, then you have to drive. Often you have to drive an hour or two after the show. Then you gotta wake up at 8 a.m., get back in the van. So you're spending so much time in the van, and you're spending so much time that you don't get to do what you want, that you have to ask to stop to take a piss, or like, you know, you get to eat when you get the chance to eat. You don't get to eat when you're hungry. Sometimes you gotta take a shit when you got the occasion to do it, you know what I mean? And like all of that. So it's like when you finally get on stage, you get to release and fucking, you know, the reason why you're doing this, the reason why you're putting up with all this shit. And so often, also it's like, you know, there is a lot that you sacrifice when you're in a band that tours a lot. It's like, you know, your relationships at home, if anything happens to someone you love or you care for and you're not there, you know, all of that. So it's like, well, once you finally hit the stage, you get to release everything that you need to, and the crowd goes to the show to do the same, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the crowd has been going to a job that they don't like all fucking week, or their fucking boyfriend or girlfriend fucking cheat on them, or, you know, shit that happens to anybody, right? Then you finally go watch the band you like, and you're like, boom, I'm having a good time tonight, fuck everything, feel me?
Fair. So
It's a mutually shared feeling, you know, when you get on stage with the crowd.
So you give and you take at the same time.
Yes.
So don't you still get nervous from time to time before stepping on stage?
Not really. I've always been, my personality has always been kind of like arrogant, kind of like I can do anything I want to do. So it's like when I get on stage, that's my shit. Yeah.
So Necrot stayed really rooted in the underground even as the band keeps growing and growing. So how hard is it to protect that mentality once bigger labels and bigger tours enter the picture?
Well, it's something that you're never gonna lose, you know what I mean? Because it's part of you. It's part of you. It's like, you know, the reason why we do this is because we love doing it. It's because it's our way to express ourselves. It's our way to be free. So it's like that's never gonna change. It doesn't matter if we're playing in a bar or in a stadium. You know, it don't matter. It's like it's still us doing what we choose to do. You know, we choose this life. Nobody forced it upon us.
So, what do you think selling out looks like to you?
Selling out means that you're changing your style, that you're changing what you're doing to please someone else. That's selling out. That means like, oh, I'ma sound different. Oh, I'ma do something different to get as many fans as possible. That's selling out. As long as you do what you wanted to do, the way you wanted to do, you're not selling out. You're being yourself.
And I'm gonna go back to the tour.
Yes.
Because you said something that really stayed in my mind right now. Because this is the last date of the tour, right?
Yeah, we have an extra show tomorrow.
Where?
In Portland, Maine. We played 9 extra shows on the tour.
Oh, okay.
On our own.
Nice. Because I thought this one was the last one of the...
This is the last one of the Decibel tour, 100%. Yes.
So, on the next show tomorrow.
Okay, yes. So,
do you think that the band feels more exhausted or more dangerous?
By the end of it,
yeah,
exhausted. I'm not gonna lie, man. We're fucking dead inside. It's like we've been on the road for 35 days. We left April 22nd. Today's like I don't even know, May 29th, 8th.
28?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like you're obviously exhausted, But the adrenaline you get on stage always makes up for that 1 hour. But like. Everything that happens before and after, people has no idea. Sometimes you get off from stage, you want to throw up.
All right, so this is a 2-part question. What's the craziest moment of the tour so far, and which crowd surprised you the most?
Oh shit. I don't know. The craziest moment, I don't even know, because the days start blending in together. We blew a tire in Arizona in 105 degrees, 40 Celsius. And then you're stuck there and you're already fucking tired as fuck.
Because that's why you're 10, right?
What's that?
That's why you're
I get 10. I get 10 fast. But I say the most surprising crowd. It's I don't know, because it's I feel like we don't get surprised anymore because we have been everywhere so many times. So we kind of know where people goes hardest, But it's I feel like some places I always get surprised, Toronto, Minneapolis, some places on the north, because I feel like the southern part, where there is more Latinos, more Mexicans and stuff, they go nuts. Okay, so we always get the fucking wild crowds in San Antonio. We get wild crowds in, places close to the border and whatnot. Sometimes when you're on the far north, you get a little bit colder of crowds. It's a different way of, they're still loving it, they're still watching it. They just don't go completely insane. But there is some places way fucking up north, like Minneapolis or Toronto, where people goes fucking hard, for real. They go hard as fuck.
If Necrot disappeared tomorrow, what would you hope people would say that the band represented?
Well, I think that I would hope people to say that we were a genuine band, that we weren't trying to do something to make money or to be successful. We always respected what we wanted to do, and I hope people would say that about us. We've always worked hard for anything we have achieved, and we've always worked with people that we've wanted to work with. And we've always turned down people that approached us in a weird corporate way, of people these people don't care about the music. These people are just straight up business. Well, they're not going to work with us.
Massive thank you, Lucas, for agreeing to be with us on Mandy.
Yeah, of course, right?
Yeah, and all right, guys, don't forget, you know what to do. Buy the merch, stream the freaking song, buy the albums, and catch Necrot wherever they play live.
Come see us live.
This is not metal music playing, this is true emotions playing live.
Cheers.